you were here for the beginning and intermediate. So most of you have been here for that. That's good. We move on to specific stuff. Thank you. We'll just go over the notes for 5 minutes, just so you guys can sum up for those of you. Particular style of movie punch, there's just what needs to work, right? You take normal boxing, we bring it through here, right? It's a normal boxing punch. Right now, don't react. I'm in line to actually hit him in the face, but if the angle of the camera is just a little bit off, it doesn't look like it. Even though this is a real boxing punch, right? So I've got to line myself up so that it looks, I've got to sort of take my hands and change them off. See, that looks like a punch to the face. Wow. You can react to that. Wow. See how violent that looks? But if you look from the side view, come all the way around to this angle. Got it. You can see how far off my fist is from his face. Okay? So it's all about adjusting for the camera. All about adjusting for the camera. That means sometimes if the camera's right over here, you have to get your punch a little bit wider or bring it around a little bit more if you want it to be a straight reaction. Okay? We talked about trajectory, reactions to follow the technique. So I'm just trying to make it. There you go. Straight across, straight across. See, this one's a little harder because the camera, my hand naturally wants to turn, and the camera is in between. The camera is catching the space, so I've actually got to follow through a little bit more just to make that read. Ready? Boom. Wait, a little too early. And action. Nope, a little bit, just a little bit too early. So you have to wait a little bit longer just because the angle is strange, and that's better. There's no class for that, you guys. You learn that from getting a camera and playing around and realizing, how come that's not working? It works when it's this way. The things you just have to remember is he has to move in the direction of the hip. All right? But then if he takes a big reaction, a really big reaction, adds power to the. And then, of course, when you match it up right, it looks right. Okay.
Do that. I only owed you $5.
Ways to do blocks. Okay, there's no wrong way. If I'm saying to you right now, number 1, and then you accidentally do this to block instead, well, that's a block that can work in choreography. Okay, that's fine. There's no wrong. We're just using the numbers so that we can all be on the same page. For this, everywhere you go, somebody's going to have a little bit of a different way of trying to figure out how they're going to use this stuff. Okay? You just got to have to collaborate on what those parameters are for explaining yourselves. So the other thing I want to point out is some of you are turning your arm inwards. We all have a bone that runs right along here called the radialis, right? Ulna radialis. I had that backwards. Ulna radialis. Ulna radius. I know what I'm talking about. It's basically this bone right here if you want to wait this one right here. Some of you felt it in what you've been doing. And old style traditional Japanese karate guys will teach you to use that bone and you block as hard as you can and you break the arm. And you block it. Well, that's pretty difficult to do and it takes a lot of training. And by the time your arm is strong enough that you could probably do that, you will start to suffer osteoporosis. So don't do that. But you'll notice that hurts too. And so what we do in choreography is we turn our hand inwards so we can block the meaty part of our arm. And vice versa. See, his bone is here, so when he punches, sometimes you're just going to catch it. But sometimes we help it out so that we're always making contact with the meaty portions of our hands, and that makes it a little bit softer. Some people are softer than others, and that will happen. So be sensitive to if the person you're training with is doing this when you're blocking, Ready? I want you to, yeah, ready? 1, 2. Be sensitive to what's going on with your partner, okay? If they're hurting a little bit, talk to them. Actually, you gotta kind of punch a little bit towards lens. And you already know you're gonna stop right there. Right? So you just look at that spot. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my head right in that spot. But I know I'm gonna get out of the way before the fist gets in that spot. And then as that happens, I'm gonna grab it with my hand. So it's gonna look like one of those cool martial art moments where whoosh, the guy catches the punch. Ready? And action. That didn't look too bad, did it?
No.
Okay, good. So I couldn't see. So, because I was worried about getting hit.
Good reason.
So another point, if you're worried about getting hit, then you can't devote as much time to acting and bringing the character to life. Okay, so that's what team, and that's nothing about you. That's just, yeah.
That's cool.
We haven't had enough time together. So from here, you might see something like this, where you take the joint, and you can cross around behind me for a shot. When we take the joint, we add a little sound effect, and it looks like, if he does this, you see right now, this is actually the real lock. But it doesn't look as exciting as if he opens up his fingers and twists them like that. Ready? And so from this one, and you see that looks painful. That looks like something's going on there. But it's not any different than, keep your hands closed, this. Even though this is the real lock. Stand up. Now the other thing is, it doesn't have to be the real lock. You don't really want to go in and tear guys' joints up. Steven Seagal does that to some extent. It's not cool. Punch me, and then I'm going to come in like this. And then the guy's dead. Right?
He's not going to come on the work.
And he does that. Don't do that. You don't need to do that. We're not tough guys. We're making movies. We want to get into fighting and being tough, but it's time to get in the ring and do some doing. Okay? So you have to have good awareness of distance when you start adding in acrobatics. Right? And you can't look like this. And then do your move. Tumble with his back. Can't do that. When you practice your acrobatic moves, they have to be done from a standstill or at least from one step. So that in choreography, you can hide your preparation. So it looks cooler. It doesn't look like fight choreography and remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. That requires a lot of training, okay? You don't have to do that to do good choreography. Acrobatic moves like that are a different type of arithmetic. You can do basic arithmetic or you can do calculus, depending on what it is you need to do, all right? What it is you need to accomplish. Just touch. Just touch on top of the head. You don't have to touch on the face. Okay? Just so that you know where the body is. Just moving around. Move around in one circle, then switch. 2 is gonna pretend to punch the body. Okay? And we're just gonna do a right, a left. See how I come downwards? A right, a left, an upward right, and an upward left. Okay? Smooth punches you've seen in movies for years. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not gonna slam the guy, okay? You're gonna touch him just like you were. You're gonna touch him. If you start to get comfortable, you can start going away like you're going away in the bag. The other person is gonna tell you, that was a little hard. That one had a little sauce on it. And then you back it off, and you constantly communicate with your partner. Partner goes, no, this is a little bit hard.
I walk in your shop?
And you might have a partner who's a
sorry.
little bit sensitive. That's okay. I had a bad breakfast this morning.